Next up, we have H for G-type.
Okay, so here we go. This is the end of week 2 of G-type, so 9 September. Got this awesome nebula background that we added to the background. It's just an amazing bit there. And then something that I'll get into in a little more detail in a couple of minutes is that the bottom portion of the screen on the right-hand side there where the power-ups are being displayed and you can see them being available. So we'll talk about that in a second. All right, Team G, we're +3 on GitHub for contributors and +2 on Trello and +5 on the Slack channel. So we're growing quick and that's great. Some lessons learned. So know when you're bucking genre conventions. So, Gradius is the version of this style game that I played the most and did not realize at the time that the idea that when you destroy an enemy and it leaves something for you to pick up, that it's a capsule that advances which power-up you could have, that you could choose to activate across the bottom of the screen there, that's different than what you see in a lot of the shoot-'em-ups that are out there now, where when you destroy a bad guy, it leaves a specific power-up. So as soon as you grab that power-up, you get the double or you get shields or whatever, rather than having to accumulate a number of those in order to choose which power-up you get. So failing to recognize that resulted in having to have a lot of conversations with different folks over the course of the last couple of weeks to figure out exactly how we wanted the power-up system to go. Because what I was envisioning was different from what others were envisioning, and lots of folks were in alignment and others were not. So that was a big lesson learned for us over the last couple of weeks, and we created a lot of churn on that. But I think that thanks to Kay Anthony adding those power-up displays at the bottom of the screen, that we were in much better shape now. And then Kirby added some artwork that will get added in there, and I think that'll be the final step in making that piece clearer. So there we go, lessons learned on development. For artwork this week, so here are the UI images that Kirby put together for us. So we'll get those added into the game, and I think we'll be moving right along. Across the top of the screen there, you can see the Nebula sample image that Krister put together. And that's what really makes that background amazing. I forgot to show the player explosion last week that Jamie did, but so we have, like I said, we've got the sprite itself has an explosion animation, we've got the particles, and we have a separate sprite that does explosions. So the player explodes very nicely. For next week, still looking for that custom game font. Looking for some more foreground sprite sheets that can float by, and then start working on the ghost ships sprite sheet so that when you choose that power up, it can show up in game. Flying enemies, ground enemies, still need those. More boulders, a platform that we could put some of the ground enemies on that slide by, that'd be great. So lots of artwork to go still. For audio, we didn't get any new soundtracks this week. Did get the enemy explosion SFX updated. It matches the visual very nicely. I noticed in Chris's update for that he said that it matched the explosion better, and he's absolutely right. It matches very nicely now. Like 30 minutes ago, Pseudoludo added the player explosions, so we'll get that updated and in the game so you can both see and hear the explosions, assuming I can figure out how to share computer audio. For next week, looking for level music for levels 1 and 2, space dogfight and surface strafe there, some game over audio, special effects for when you pick up a capsule, for when you hit the enter button to actually activate power up, and then there's those bubbles near the end of the current track that show when they blow up. Would like to hear an audio associated with that. For code this week, we have the foreground debris. It's in-game, and it slides by faster than the regular game, so you can add a little parallax there. I mentioned Kay Anthony did a lot of work on the power-ups. It's all connected up now, so we just get the images in there, and it's already set up so that when you collect a capsule, it advances which power-up is available to you, so that's all great. We've got a function in there to spawn special capsules if we end up with more than one way to do that. Mentioned, Jamie added the player shots. They're positioned based on which type of shot you have, and that matters because the sprites are different sizes. Lou added the force, right? So he's got the collision body for it. It destroys enemies and absorbs their enemy shots. And then we also added a little bit of a hit point system so that if we want to have an enemy require more than one shot, that's easy to do. And then mentioned the nebular background that Krister did. For next week, continue incorporating any new assets that get made. We'll get the power up UI fully in and updated. I'd like to get the double shot set up, and we'll continue the design and development of the Force. Design, still working the Force object. Kirby did some of the initial UI design. She mentioned to me that she is thinking about talking with Kartik about doing, juicing up that UI a little bit. So we'll see what we get. I think there'll be a combination of effort there. Got some credits work going on. I'd like to get started on, the story. Hey, bad guys are no good, and let's go save the universe. I think that getting kind of an outline of the story set up would be a good first step as we start thinking about that game trailer that I was looking at doing. That would give us a sense of what we kind of want to, what story we'd like to tell during the game trailer. So we'd like to try and get an early lead on at least what we think the story might be so that we can be thinking about that. For marketing this week, we published the pitch video. Had 277 views on it, which was awesome. It's a little bit ahead of a typical video, so that's great. We got 12 likes. Screenshot Saturday tweet did very well. Over 6,000 impressions and 700 media views. We got over 1,000 of those this morning. Part of the reason that happened is because Krister was having a conversation with somebody else in that thread. And I think that when you have those conversations, that Twitter promotes that tweet because people are engaging with it. And so I think that that's something that as a team that we can do in order to get the Screenshot Saturday tweets out more, is rather than simply liking and or retweeting, you can leave a comment on the thread saying, hey, I participated in this game and it's awesome, or something like that. That'll help promote it in Twitter's algorithm. Especially if you were to say, do a Twitch stream of drawing a piece of artwork or some coding or something that you did, and you wanted to say, hey, here's a video of me working on this game, and then put in a link to your Twitch stream or something like that in that thread. I think that would be really great. Posted the devlog. I did it in my LinkedIn, and I got 522 views on that. Now, my typical posts there, I get like 50 views, but Chris DeLeon engaged with me on that one. We had a couple of comments on that, and just like for Twitter, I think when people engage with a post, LinkedIn promotes that post in its algorithm. And so 522 views. Now, I know most of that is because Chris was involved, because I don't know anybody in San Francisco, and like half the people that looked at it live there. So, but anyway, it worked out great. Appreciate that. Did a tweet for the pitch video. You can see the numbers there in the devlog article tweet and the enemy path tweet. So marketing is coming right along. Do a quick demo here for the game. So we got a little cutscene here. Obviously needs some work, but it's a start. And then we can so if I hit enter, because I got the speed down at the bottom there, now I can fly around a lot more quickly. And then if I collect another capsule, you can see that I get the speed back up. And then if I get another one, I don't know if I'll be able to, then if I were able to get another one, you'd be able to see that as well. So there we go. And we can warp forward. So we'll just look at the Trello here real quick. So here's, the things that we've got done. Here are the things from this week that we didn't finish up. So we'll move those to forward. We'll forward those to the next couple of weeks. If you want to look, Kirby identified a bug with some of the special effects where if you try to play them again before they finish playing, they start over, and so you get this weird stutter effect. So we'll have to take a look at that. Looking at the ghost ship power up and all of the steps to implement it, some layout options for the options screen rather, and missiles power up, something we haven't talked about much, and some more music. So that's kind of what we're looking at for next week. But I think that is it.
So yeah, quick question, H. Chris was wondering, what is the ghost ship? What came up mid presenting?
So in Gradius, They called it the option, but really what it is one of those things that floats around behind you that also shoots when you shoot. It just kind of trails along behind you as a way to power you up.